I could only remember when I was 3 years and my father had just been buried. Then I could see my mother in the evening going to the graveside, and she would be crying. Then from then I knew death was real because I never saw my father again. Before his death, he was way above poverty because he knew Nairobi and he could bring things and sell. And anybody who wanted clothes, new things, he could get them from him. But then after he passed on, our economic status worsened and there was not enough.
Believing in your abilities to succeed drives action. If you drop your beliefs, you drop your success. Now, we are on a journey into the life of Professor Richard Otieno Muga.
He can give you his word, and lo and behold, that word will be respected to the letter.
To discover the intellectual ability that was accompanied by great resilience, faith, focus, diligence, and love.
He makes me laugh when he says, when you get sick, I bring an injection and make sure you get well every time.
To see how passion and consistency can change history.
Very sincere. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. If he's in, he's in. And he's very passionate about his work. Very passionate.
I thank them for the investment that they made in religion to bring me up, because it has helped me when making my choices.
Ane tim gigi mine jalongore. Odi nyawana die nyagati to bere pe. Kaji yore wa sal nyagati to bere pe. Pe mangongo. Windi jalongore.
My mother was born to a church teacher. So my grandfather, maternal, is the one who taught my father in Dudi. Then this same boy he taught later married his daughter, married in church. For your student to marry your daughter, the student must have been well behaved because he was the teacher. I started my standard 1 at Dudi Primary School, the Dudi School where I'm chairman of the board. Every school will have to have a nurse. We may not be able to give schools nurses, but this time the school will have to employ. I want to believe so.
2004, there was very poor performance in biology. It was a subject feared by girls. He would come and with the knowledge he had, he would talk to the learners, change the attitude towards biology, and we saw it progress, and there was a very good improvement in the learners. So they see him as a father. He talks to the teachers, we have a meeting with him, we share our challenges. He comes in to assist us overcome various challenges as our board chairman.
So I did standard 1, 2, and 3. Then I left there to come to study where my sister was married, my sister Nora.
Daktari nyinge Richard Otieno Muga, amba anyar Muga eno wadwa. Daktari kata ne podo tin, ne en ng'ama chap mohero tich, kendo podo siko go nyaka sani.
And she allowed me to go to standard 4 there, and I did C there. After that 1 year, my sister Humatabel then found for me an intermediate school, and this was now Nyatindo Intermediate School. So this was 7 kilometers from home, so I would have to carry lunch. The food which remained at night, I carry it, then go to school, then come back in the evening.
Hey, I can't tell you. Hey, this my brother, the only one. Umbrella is a big tree with many birds on it and others under the tree.
And so I did up to standard 7, and then I moved to Ober, which is near my home, and now I did standard 8 and went to Form 1. Form 1, I went to Homa Bay High School.
Richard Muga's life in Homa Bay, there was problem of raising the school fees. Actually, before he came to Homa Bay, there was a proposal that he would go to Agorosare High School. But later on, we talked with Mama Elizabeth, and Elizabeth said, just hold the hand of this boy. He may one time be helpful to us. And so I refused to have him taken to Agorosare. I said, bring him to Homa Bay where I am. Being a school bazaar at Homa Bay, I had quite a good voice, particularly following the rules of the school, and I was friendly to the principal. He liked me very much.
When I passed to go to secondary school, the school fees then was 400 shillings, and we could not have it. And that's why some of my relatives, including Japhet Angila, they supported me, and including the late James Oyugi, Ogot, they supported me.
When fees was problem, to raise school fees, I said, any bursary coming, because that bursary was not enough for the tuition fees. I would compensate part of the bursary by giving Richard some work in the store, record the daily consumption, and because of the record that he was making, we were giving him something like 50 shillings. I'm not quite sure, but he was being paid. Instead of paying him cash, we had agreed that it is credited to the school fees account. He was always top 10 in the class.
After Homa Bay High School, I went to do A-levels at Alliance High School for 2 years. Then I moved into the university to study medicine.
He finished internship, then he went, did his postgraduate. That was another challenging time, because many a times, he had to be away for studies, working, calls. As a young doctor, he was very thin. He has put on a lot of weight. But he really thought about his duties very seriously. So there is hardly anything that would come between him and the duties he had to perform as a doctor.
First of all, I thank God for these 4 decades. Yes, I'm a doctor for 42 years. And when I look back as a young doctor, when I look back at the people I touched, the people you saw being born are now big doctors. and you see them develop, and their parents tell them that so and so was your doctor. And it gives satisfaction.
By virtue that he was a pediatrician, he used to also come in to treat us as his children. So I used to see how his career played out, and I borrowed a lot from what he did, and his influence really was key in my decision making to join medicine.
We also have the law that health is a right. If we know how to protect children, then you deliberately decide not to have your child have that right. You can be sued.
Like now, I can give you an example. I have two patients in the ward who used to see the other side. They always ask, where is Professor? They just come, look for him. And when they call, they will just discuss, and then he will just call me, tell me, there is such a patient, what is the problem, can you follow up, 2, 1, 2, 3. Even if he's not around, he can tell me, and then find patients they have created that good relationship with the professor. Yeah.
Then later on, when he became a DMS, that was also another time which is quite challenging.
Later on, I was invited to work in the center at the Ministry of Health. And then His Excellency, the President, appointed me to be Director of Health Services. By law, that is the Chief Advisor of Government on Health. And I had a chance to work for 5 years in the Ministry of Health as the Director of Medical Services. Today, we call that Director General. In the US, we call that as the Chief Surgeon. I worked there as a director after some 2 years, working with the then Minister for Planning, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. We were part of the team that was implementing for economic recovery. So we proposed that we need to strengthen the population policy for Kenya. One of its attributes is that it gives choices for family planning. Nobody is forced to plan their family. But our policy says that we will provide people with information, we will help them to make decisions, and they will choose. When they choose to plan or to use a contraceptive, it will be available nearest to them. So we proposed then, when I was the director, that we should create a state corporation that we will look after population and development. And that is when we proposed that National Council for Population and Development be created as a state corporation, as an agency. And the President approved, and he gazetted a state corporation under State Corporations Act. And the National Council for Population and Development was created. I resigned my job as a director, and then I competed for the post of a CEO. And for me, this was also another tricky decision I had to make, because when you have a job, then you resign, then you apply for another post. You can easily lose that one, and you have left this one. But because I was confident, when the board advertised the post, I resigned I applied. Then I was appointed as a CEO for population development. And I did another 2 years. So there were these two agendas. How do you ensure people who are employed continue to pay to NHIF? And then how do you ensure that people in the private sector, how do you ensure that they are covered? One, we need to expand the NHIF. Two, we need to improve efficiency of NHIF. And three, we need to find a way of how to cushion the indigents. So for me, this was the beginning of a very exciting process. And it came that my board developed a proposal which was approved that all civil servants would be covered by NHIF. That means they will bring the money from national government to pay for them, and we would offer care. And then we would expand the providers, public and private. And then we would raise contribution by informal sector. And what do I mean? People who are not regularly employed, even if you are a boda person, or you are a matatu rider, or you are a fishmonger, or you are a tea picker, you can pay at the rate of 500 shillings every month, and you are covered. For me, this was the turning point for NHIF, because then we were able to recruit many people. And then technology of M-Pesa came, and we developed a tool that allowed people to pay for NHIF for their cover through M-Pesa, pay bill. And it is going on till now. And of course, when I was in NHIF, there were issues of governance. There were people who thought there was a lot of money in NHIF. And I tried to stand against that, to the extent that even my term of 3 years, I cut it before it reached 3 years, because I stood my ground and I said no. When people wanted to come in to try and put their hands into that money, I said no. Then I said it is better I live with my name than go away minus my name.
I will not stop here. I need to go on record that we cannot run public office like this. I will brief the minister, but I am put here as a chair of the board to look after the services of this fund. It doesn't matter even if I go home and I'm removed as a chairman. I am a Kenyan. I have 35 years of public service. And if I raise a point, I need to be heard.
The biggest thing I remember is that he took a stand, and a stand against corruption, right? And that played out publicly, but what I'm particularly really proud of as a son is that he took a stand for what was right. A little later, the details of that played out in the press after he had left that position. But even the people who were trying to make negative influence about it got into some things that then we began to say, so this is what Professor was saying.
You need to know that you can raise your voice so that even the president can hear. That's why you are gazetted by the president. The other board members are gazetted by the minister. So a situation can come where the chairman should also try to discuss with the minister and say no. Yes, that is the spirit in those statutes, where other board members are appointed by the minister, but the chairman is appointed by the president. It is not by chance, there is a reason. And these are tough decisions that you have to make when you are in a high office, or you are a permanent secretary, you are a chairman. You must make the tough decisions. And you must be prepared to put your neck and then say no. If we don't, then even with a good program, you sink with it. And now you come out there, you emerge from the hole minus your name, because now. So really, in NHIF, it is on record that what we stood for helped NHIF. I was appointed to be Deputy Vice Chancellor for Finance and Administration. And my classmate then was the former VC of Nairobi University. So we went with him to Israel, and we were in the same class being taught on how to manage institutions of higher learning. And so for me, I was going to manage Luke, and for him, he was managing Nairobi University.
Dr. Muga came to be part of the team. It was very casual, you know. He said, he visited us here one day. He said, Cosmos, you know, I would like to join you. I'm very passionate about medicine. And I thought he was joking. And we had a hearty laugh here. And he said, anyway, he said, I'm serious. And he said, here is my CV. If you, in case you will need me, it will be my pleasure to be here. By that time, he was still at Great Lakes University, where he was doing a lot of work, and a lot of good work. So we put our heads together in the management board meeting, and we asked, now that we have this opportunity, we have finished, the academic year has come to an end. Next academic year, we are getting more and more students. It would be good for us to have somebody whose name is a household name, somebody who is respected in this area, because he has worked so much in this area. He's made a lot of contribution to so many people in terms of good health. So we seized that opportunity. The management board said, no, this is the man we are not leaving behind. So let him join the team. And so 2016, 2017, he joined us, and we were all the happier for it. He's a man of network. He networks very well. And he brought in his colleagues, and he has a very good rapport. Having been MedSup here in Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, the old Russia then, he is good in class and good outside. And in that regard, students see him as a role model, somebody whom they can journey with, somebody whom they can identify with. They said, I would like to be like Professor Muga when I become a doctor. A university like this, even though we are faith-based, you cannot miss problems, student issues, strikes. And Professor Muga goes and quietens everybody. He was an asset. He was an asset here. Those are the qualities we needed here. And I tell you, we miss him here. We miss him. If it were not for politics, he should be here teaching.
people should be empowered to prevent disease. And then people should be empowered that they go for a checkup quickly, that it is picked early. And universal healthcare proposes that you should not be denied a service because you don't have resource. So you find that the principle of hub and spoke will promote primary care, and it will help our people, so that if you have high blood pressure, you should not travel a long distance for it to be picked. It can be checked and then you are referred appropriately. So hub and spoke is creating a network of facilities that should be able to offer preventive health and also curative services to people. And we are using community health volunteers.
Community health volunteer ambaye ina link community na facility. Tunapeana huduma kuhusu services ambao tunapata kwa facilities na ugonjwa mbalimbali. Sasa we link the community members and the facility. Wagonjwa wanakuja, tuna deal na cases kama malaria. First and sixth tuna refer Utoro. Immunization tumefanya mara moja kwa wiki na tumefanya kwa wiki 2.
Being a pediatrician, his focus has always been on the health of children, and sometimes it pains him, you know. Where we stay here, there are a lot of mosquitoes, so he's always been at the forefront, you know, to advocate for having parents put their children under the net, you know. Initiatives to do mosquito sprays, you know, just to eradicate the mosquitoes when there are too many.
Kwanza kabisa tulijuana na yeye akikuja hapa kwetu. Kwanza kabisa alituletea net, akakaa na wazee wa kwetu hapa, akatuliza tunaweza penda nini atufanyie, na tulipenda mambo ya hospitali cause hapa umeona distance ya kutoka Utoro mpaka hapa ni mbali, na environment ya huku kama kuna mvua hauwezi kufika Utoro kwa urahisi. Kama uko na mgonjwa baada ya mvua hauwezi kufika. Sasa tulipenda tusaidie kwa mambo ya hospitali, akatujengea hii nyumba kwanza, ambaye yeye mwenyewe alitutafutia NGO afya Ubuntu. Yeye ndio alifacilitate afya Ubuntu kukuja hapa kutufanyia kazi kama hii, na sasa tunafurahia kazi yake.
The other thing he's done is to be at the forefront for girl child education.
I was looking for this help to help me to raise my school fee for joining my first year through fundraising. They have supported me by giving me some cash to raise my tuition fee.
To provide good health. Good health is a political decision. You have to make deliberate effort to provide good health. So you cannot give good health if the top political leadership don't choose good health. That's number one. Because to provide good health, you have to motivate people, you have to provide resource, and you have to hold the system accountable. In schools, there's a political process. We have the president of the school, like a chair girls' school of 1,500 girls, and they get a president. That is the president of the school, and she has a cabinet, all these are political processes where people stay, and we need to respect that. And for a political process to go on well in a household, people will say, remain truthful, declare what you have, treat everybody in the household fairly, and remain transparent. All those are the rules of the game of good political processes. And you will find these processes in the church, in the household, at the national level. So people should not just think it is for the politician who is running around. That is part of it, but not all. I think Kenya is struggling. We are getting there gradually, because where there is inequality, some people have much, some people don't have, you find that getting this balance is very difficult. When you try to take from those who have to give those who don't have, there's a tug of war. So we still have challenges in our processes, and the political leaders, they are doing their best, but we are not there yet. We are not there yet. He's our farm supervisor. He picks tea. Like yesterday, so he took 113 kilos of tea. So here largely we do farming, we plant food. That is one thing we survive on. It was passed to us by our mother, because when she was alive, she would dig and make sure there is food. So I bought additional land and planted tea. And then tea is one crop which, if maintained well, and you encourage the neighbors also to plant, it is income generating. Every month there is some money coming in. So when I started, I bought seedlings for the area and I distributed for free. But usually you find you distribute, then people want you to plant it for them, care it for them. So a few who planted, they still have. When I planted mine, now they see I harvest a lot of tea, and I have employed a number of people, and it is paying. So it still remains an example for our rural home people can see. So this is quality tea, and in this region now we are the ones delivering the best tea, the people around, because our farm is large, and yeah. But then in the long run we will divide this into 3 so that people have small pieces. But for now I still pick everything, and plus the other one that you will see. So tea is a cash crop for us. The good thing with tea is that every month you are given something. It is not like sugarcane where you wait. Every month we get something, and then at the end of 1 year we get a bonus. The challenge is that the tea is not being properly marketed. So farmers sometimes fear going into tea. So down there we have planted maize. Those trees down there are ours, and we use them for building. The nearest tea collection center is in our market, Obeir Market, but then the factory is in Kisii.
When he came in, that is around 1998, he was the chair of development, and plans were laid down through his leadership to do that extension that which you can see now. Otherwise, we were sitting on these leftovers of timber, Magogo. That is what we were using as seats there. But through its leadership, he brought us that far to put up that fire.
I thought at first that he was going to be a pastor, a very proper trained pastor who knew the Bible very well. Yeah, he knows the Bible. He knows the Bible. Richard Muga knows the Bible.
My father had this strong religious background, and I support that, because when we grew up, she taught us how to pray, how to sing, how to lead.
He has got the voice to sing. He would sing.
And how to refrain from bad habits. Because today at my age, I've never had a desire to drink alcohol. I've never had a desire to smoke. My mother, because my father died at 3 years. So the one who had influence on my life was my mother.
She was very brave and active in the church. And so, in the same way, Dr. Muga, even now I think, he is very happy in the church. He is very free with church activities.
And even when now I had money, I never felt any need to go into drinking or this. She gave me a strong background, which I have lived to cherish even now. And so when I finished school and became a doctor, I said in my heart, I don't want to see my mother struggle anymore.
We spent a lot of time learning about Christianity, and it was an opportunity for us to have well-grounded, well-mannered virtues in this world.
When he stands to preach.
So I can see this was what was also going on. The king now could not have a change, and now Daniel was still alive. And he said, because you people have misled me, now we throw you into the day.
When I look at the influence of religion in my upbringing from Dr. Muga and Mrs. Sarah Muga, I thank them for the investment that they made in religion to bring me up, because it has helped me when making my choices.
God's plan, you never know. He became a doctor, and I said, okay, whichever line of, or whichever walk of life he is called to do, I know he will perform. There were two sons, Philip and Dr. Muga. Now Philip died, Dr. Muga took the lead.
To me, he's more than an uncle. He's been like a real dad to me. I would tell him anything, like a dad. I remember when my mother was sick, anytime I called him, he would reach there like himself, pick my mom by himself and put her in the car, and we drive her to the hospital.
I can say he's a critical thinker and a good decision maker. There's some decisions that you wouldn't make on your own. His intervention is usually very important when it comes to decision making, and he's also a wise man. I've seen him make decisions for the family and family members, our siblings, and they always end up being good decisions to take.
He is still strong, leading the home very happily too, and I think those who hear his voice and advice will do well from the home because of good foundation that he had.
he has instilled in me, and I think the same applies to my siblings, a way of thinking that makes you adaptable to the situations that you find yourselves in. He doesn't give you a manual, he gives you more like a blueprint that you would use that as a foundation to make decisions in your life.
He was entertaining us, but his tone is naturally deep, and sometimes he says, "Stop shouting." That is right. Sometimes he speaks too loud. Until sometimes I tell him, go low. But I think that is his nature. He's a hard-working man, and he loves his family. He likes putting peace in the society.
Dr. Muga is lovable, amicable. He is self-motivated.
God-fearing, very amiable, very sociable.
My grandfather always gets excited when I come to Shabul. He talks to me about everything he's been through when I was not there. I also tell him how life is here in Kisumu, in Nairobi, and all that I traveled. I tell him how much fun I had when he's around me.